It's time to hold on tight as the Stadium Super Trucks fly into Costa Mesa, California for the Sand Sports Super Show. This weekend, Robbie Gordon and the Sports Best will punish their 600 horsepower trucks around the temporary 13-turn, 1.5-mile track at the Orange County Fair and Event Center. It's rounds 11, 12, and 13 of the Speed Energy Stadium Super Trucks. It has been quite the year for the inaugural season of the Speed Energy Stadium Super Trucks as we welcome you to California once again to Costa Mesa. Lee Diffie along with Brian Till and Marty Snyder is with us this weekend, and it's busy. A triple header for the series. It's the most work that the drivers have had to do this year, and it's all on the line. Points are important as well. Let's check in with Marty and the man who's chasing the lead in the championship.
Well, guys, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the Stadium Super Trucks making history by going to Crandon. A little different history this week here at the Sand Show at the Orange County Fairgrounds. Robbie Gordon, I guess, the largest off-road expo in the world. Could you find A better place, and B, talk about this track because everybody loves this track?
Well, thank you. You know, if this is something that we kind of, after we started the series, we did LA Coliseum like this, where it has pavement, metal jumps, dirt, and sand, and try to mix it all together. So I like it. I'm happy that we got the opportunity to come here to Orange County. I mean, where can you go race off-road trucks basically in Newport Beach?
Right, yeah, exactly right. All right, let's talk about you and the championship. 19 points behind coming into the weekend. You've got Keegan Kincaid filling in for Rob McCachran. Is it a lead you can cut into, you feel like, this weekend? You
know, what I'm going to have to do is Keegan's a very talented race car driver, too. So what I'm going to have to do is just put picture-perfect races together, try to qualify as best I can, try to score as many points by passing cars as we can, and just keep chomping at it.
He's got a few races left. We'll see if Robbie Gordon can cut into that championship lead this weekend, guys.
And Marty, it's not only what he does inside the cockpit, it's what he does outside as well. Let's have a look at the starting lineup, Brian, for this triple-header weekend.
Well, you got Mike Jenkins, Craig Potts, P.J. Jones, and you know what? P.J. Jones may not be in the championship hunt, but he can steal points away from people. He's going to be starting up towards the front.
So a busy weekend, and we're going to show you races 2 and 3 in more length. But first of all, we want to get you up to speed with highlights of the opening race of the weekend under the lights. And unfortunately for Mike Jenkins, he has a spin, and watch this. Gets collected by the new boy on the scene, Keegan Kincaid.
Yeah, and that's going to do damage to Jenkins' truck. That's not what he wants. And the thing that's awesome, though, Lee, about this racetrack, look at this. It has everything that these drivers have faced all year. It's got pavement, it's got metal ramps, and it's got dirt. It's got those hydro barriers that get in the way.
Justin Lofton chased hard, but he couldn't quite get there in the end. And this is exactly what Robbie Gordon needed to win in that points chase to continue to hunt down Rob McCachran. But look at what happened to Justin Lofton.
Well, and Justin Lofton has been so quick all year long. You see the despair. The engine dies. He tries to run it on the starter, but he can't get it over the last metal ramp to the start-finish line. He doesn't finish this.
Abdaly Lopez says thank you very much. Keegan Kincaid said thank you very much. And Brian, that has huge championship positives because Kincaid is representing Rob McCachran.
Well, and the important thing is Kincaid gets a good finish. Robbie Gordon gets some points, but he doesn't pull away by too much.
Time to check in with Marty. Let's hear from some of the guys.
You know, I was just being ultra conservative. I didn't want to put a wheel wrong. And it got me one time. We got together over here after the sand pit. But the track's pretty cool here at Orange County Fairgrounds. And Toyota tires hooked up, and we scored some more points.
I was right on Robbie's heels and, running a perfect race, starting to set him up. And right when I went to go make my pass, it started popping, and it was kind of just progressively got worse until right when we got to the finish line. I mean, if the ramp wasn't there, we would have been able to cross it. But the little metal ramp was what kept me crossing the finish line, getting a second-place finish.
You heard Robbie Gordon mention points. Well, they are all important. That margin comes down from 19 to 13.
19 to 13, but I said it a minute ago. Guys like Justin Lofton, P.J. Jones, Sheldon Creed, they're not in the championship hunt, but they can get in between Rob McCachran and Robbie Gordon and make that point spread either wider or narrower.
So it puts even more pressure or more weight on the next 2 races. Stick around. Back in Orange County for races 2 and 3 of this triple header weekend in the Speed Energy Stadium Super Truck Series. We've seen a good variety of drivers this year. We welcome another one. Keegan Kincaid is here representing Rob McCachran, and more importantly, that truck, as Marty tells us more.
Well, guys, it bears repeating that in Stadium Super Trucks, the points actually stay with the truck. So when Rob McCachran, our championship leader, couldn't make it to the first 2 rounds this weekend, he called Keegan Kincaid. No pressure there, just filling in for a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, I got the call Wednesday morning before he came here. I got to fill in for Rob McCachran, and that's some big shoes to fill, but hopefully I can stay consistent and keep this points lead for him.
Now, you and I were talking earlier about a little bit about the pressure of keeping the championship lead for Rob, but also the fact that you don't have a lot of asphalt experience. What's the biggest challenge in racing on asphalt for you?
Getting used to it, that's for sure. It's a lot more slippery than the dirt, and just trying to be consistent and no spin-outs on that asphalt. So,
well, the one thing is for sure, guys, Keegan very fast, but as he told me, on asphalt, I have 0 experience. That's right, 0 experience.
And Brian, when I think about Keegan Kincaid, you think about Sebastian Bourdais. When he grew up in Le Mans, he was destined to race. When you're a guy from the Kincaid family, son of Jeff, and you live in Crandon, Wisconsin, you're going to be good in off-road racing.
Absolutely you are. And he says he doesn't have any experience on asphalt, but you know what he has? He has car control, truck control, and that's what's going to be important on this tight circuit.
We've shown you this view many times this year, the onboard of Robbie Gordon. PJ Jones, who's been a tough fighter this year. Abdali Lopez, who we first saw in St. Louis earlier this year, has been impressive so far this weekend.
He has been impressive. He comes out of buggy, so these trucks are a big step for him, but he has adapted well. And there we go, green, and right to the dirt, Lee, right over these big jumps, and then they're going to come into a tight hairpin. Abdali Lopez with the lead, but it's going to get tight behind him.
You heard Robbie Gordon describe that as the sand section in there. There's so many different mediums on this track, which makes it entertaining. Lopez is your clear hole shot winner. Whoa, look at Justin Lofton on Mike Jenkins.
Man, gets past Jenkins, and Jenkins into the hydro barrier. He's up and over, and back over on all fours.
Nice work if you can get it. Well done, Mike Jenkins in the Traxxas truck. Gets going again, fired it back up. Meanwhile, it's Lopez, PJ Jones, Justin Lofton, and we can't come to Costa Mesa and talk about Stadium Super Trucks and PJ Jones and Justin Lofton without thinking about Crandon and how that week ended between those two guys.
Yeah, it ended with PJ Jones trying to pull Justin Lofton out of the cockpit of his truck, so no love lost there, and Lofton now really putting the pressure on, but Abdali Lopez out in front, and this racetrack's going to be hard to pass on, Lee. You're going to have to get a fender in on somebody in the braking zone through the sand section, and they've already knocked down that last berm. That gives them a good straight shot into the braking zone. Abdali Lopez really good coming off of that hairpin.
And he's just 17 years old, so a huge, bright future ahead. Whoa, Jones does the bicycle.
He does the bicycle to the turtle is what it looks like. PJ Jones, this is not the first time this year he has been on his head. Jenkins hit that hydro barrier and rolled. This time PJ Jones did it on his own, just too much cornering grip, and that truck went over. Lopez now has Justin Lofton all over the back bumper, and Lofton was quick in the first round here, remember, Lee, but then had that mechanical issue.
Yeah. Fuel pressure pickup issue, fuel cell issue, and it came back to plague him earlier today in practice as well. So they're crossing their fingers, hoping that that stays away and gives Justin Lofton a shot on Abdali Lopez all the way to the finish. Into the sand again.
Into the sand, but you got two races going on here. You got the race for the lead right there in front with Lopez and Lofton, and right behind him, this is the race for the championship. Keegan Kincaid in Rob McCachran's truck, that blue and gray Traxxas, the 21 on it, and Robbie Gordon right behind him. Gordon needs this position if he wants to continue to move forward in the championship.
Inside, Robbie's got him. Gordon to the inside of Keegan Kincaid.
And that was just experience and determination on Gordon's part. He gets a little bit of a jump, but then just shoved it in the braking zone, took the line away from Keegan Kincaid.
That section there is what Robbie likes to call Speed Alley, and he says it's the most technical and demanding section of this circuit. And we talk about Keegan Kincaid being a new guy, a new boy to this series. He is an off-road champion in his own right. He's only 23, and he's a pro light champion. It's just the first time we've seen him in SST, that's all.
He's doing a great job, but here's what's important now. Robbie Gordon needs to get into this fight because he needs to get another truck between himself and Keegan Kincaid. That may be hard to do because Lofton really putting the pressure on Lopez. He's going to have to fight past both of these guys.
Gets a good look at him. Wow, they touch, they rub, and Abdaly Lopez does not yield. Whoa, he is getting worked over big time from Justin Lofton, who takes the lead.
Oh, he yielded that time he had to. Lofton just pushes him out of the way. Now Justin Lofton to the lead. Can Robbie Gordon get past Lopez?
Lopez, whose father is an experienced off-roader, is little known to the scene in the U.S., but he is hanging with a couple of big names.
I'll tell you what, Robbie Gordon's truck looks particularly good in the braking zone. Guys, look at guys like Lofton and Lopez. They seem to be good off the corner. So each of these drivers has a strength and a weakness. How are you going to use it to your advantage? And this is where Gordon's strong. Look in the braking zone. Closes in on that back bumper, but Abdaly Lopez really pulls off the corner, and Justin Lofton pulling away.
How much of a challenge you think it is there to make these big trucks, these 600 horsepower trucks, pivot out of the sand onto the asphalt? You've got to make a turn on a dime.
Well, and you've got other challenges. At the top of the screen, you see water. One of the hydro barriers has been ruptured, so you've got wet pavement, dry pavement, you've got sand, but you've got a turning brake in these trucks, Lee. If you go on board and you see this handle in the middle, one of them is a shifter, one of them is the turning brake. It locks the rear brakes and allows the truck to turn a little bit quicker.
If you're new to Stadium Super Truck viewing, every truck is identical. They're all built by Robbie Gordon's crew in Charlotte, North Carolina. That little kicker jump there has caused some issues already this weekend. It makes the trucks a little unstable and throws in an extra challenge. Race leader is Justin Lofton. This is Abdaly Lopez in the 18, the RPM driver, and then the Speed Energy truck of Robbie Gordon in third, chasing him down.
Now this is where Gordon's strength is, in the braking zones. Abdaly Lopez really seems to put the power down. Look at him jump off the corner. Gordon can close in braking zones, but that truck in front with Lopez behind the wheel really seems to have the grip, putting the power down.
It's that water section that Brian was talking about from the burst barrier. Whoa, he spun it. Lopez is gone.
That's what 600 horsepower will do. We talked about him having the power down, being able to get that down, but as he transitioned back to go into that left-hand corner, just looped it with too much power, and that is big in this championship because Gordon moves forward, and now there's a truck between himself and Keegan Kincaid.
And remember, it's not the first time we've seen that happen. You might say, okay, well, he's new to SST and he's only a teenager. We've seen people like Townsend Bell and Robbie Gordon do that, both in the same corner at Toronto earlier this year.
Well, Lee, you've got a short wheelbase truck, a very narrow track, 600 horsepower, hard to control.
Certainly is. Remember, there is a competition yellow in this event. We've got a whole lot more from California right after this. Speed Energy Stadium Super Trucks continues. This is round 12 from Costa Mesa, California. And when we went to the break, I reminded you about the competition yellow. That is a feature in stadium off-road truck racing. And what it does is it gives you a second chance. It gives some of those who have suffered some adversity another chance to get back up in it. As we see green and go racing, Lofton is your race leader.
Yeah, Justin Lofton didn't want to see it because he was pulling out a pretty good lead over Robbie Gordon before we went there. Before we went to the competition yellow, this is where Gordon excelled, under the braking zone. But the truck right behind him, Abdaly Lopez, he excelled coming off the corners. So will he be able to close on Gordon as they go through this next right-hander? And that is where the moisture is. You see it right there, one of the ruptured hydro barriers.
Temporary circuit. It's only 1.5 miles in length, 13 turns, and it's been very entertaining at the Sand Super Show. Anything you can have fun in off-road in the sand is on display here this weekend. Here's Speed Alley. This is where Robbie says it's very technical. Gets you sideways. You've got to make the truck turn very quickly. Then you come back around, back onto the dirt section and flick it hard.
You see right now some of that dirt becoming almost packed down into pavement. That's going to make it slick. So you've got to deal as a driver with very different pavement changes through every corner. You've got different grip levels. You got to remember, what's the braking like in this one? What's it like in this one? What's my power down like? Gordon in the braking zone, where he's been so strong, and he's closing on Lofton there every lap and pulling away from Abdaly Lopez. And you see the truck of Keegan Kincaid. That's the championship implication that we were talking about, Lee. Kincaid needs to move forward.
Keegan Kincaid is representing Rob McCachran, who regularly drives this Traxxas truck and is still the Stadium Super Truck Series points leader. As he gets closer, it's the truck that gets the points, not the driver. So Rob McCachran, who has been extremely busy of late, is not able to make it to Costa Mesa this weekend. So it's all Keegan Kincaid, and that's a huge responsibility to carry.
Huge responsibility, but you saw from that onboard shot how relaxed he was behind the wheel. He is up to this challenge. Yes, he's got a little bit to learn with this type of truck, but it shows just how much of a professional he is, how focused he is. Right now, Justin Lofton has to be focused on keeping the man in orange behind him.
It was a complete reversal in the opening race of the weekend. It was Justin Lofton doing the chasing on the Speed Energy truck. Here comes Robbie Gordon. It's as close as Robbie's been to Justin in this race, with a shot at getting 2 from 2.
And Gordon really flew that ramp, trying to shove it in there in the braking zone. That's where the truckers excel. And that's where I'm going to look for this pass to be made. Justin Lofton just needs to focus on what he's doing, get the jump off the corner. If you can pull 2 or 3 car lengths off a corner and Gordon can make up 2 car lengths on the way in, you're still ahead of the game. Look at that. On the way in, Gordon closing up under brakes. Justin Lofton needs to focus. A good run off the corner.
Well, Robbie is putting in some huge jumps and gets a little sideways and lost some time there up over that finish jump.
See these guys already turning the wheel as they land, trying to make sure that the truck is coming down hard and getting a direction change done. Lofton around the hairpin, using that turning brake to turn the truck a little bit.
Justin Lofton has been a fixture on the SST calendar this year, also doubling up with his NASCAR Camping World Truck Series commitments as well. Not a full season over on that side of it, but Justin is a 2-time winner in this inaugural season this year, and ironically both, or coincidentally both, on this stuff on the asphalt. He won at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach event. That was round 2 of the series earlier this year, and then he backed up to win the first of the doubleheader weekend in Toronto. So this could be his first victory on mixed conditions.
But he's fast everywhere he goes. He's had a couple of mechanical problems this year, and I think without those, he might have had a couple more victories. Look at the truck sideways when it's lands. See how he turns the wheel to already get that direction change done. Head the truck into the corner. The only thing you have to worry about, these are DOT-approved tires. These are not race tires. So that shoulder of that tire takes a huge hit as it comes down with already steering in it. Look at Gordon. In the braking zone is where Robbie Gordon is absolutely magically.
Robbie is throwing everything he can at it. Remember, he lost a little ground to Justin just 2 laps ago. He knows what's at stake here in the series that he created. He wants to be the inaugural champion, and he's not far away from achieving that. He's ahead of the truck that he needs to be. That's the 21 Traxxas machine of Keegan Kincaid. If he can get by Lofton here in the closing stages, this would be massive. There's still another race to come this weekend.
The more traffic he can put between himself and the 21 Rob McCachran's truck being driven by Keegan Kincaid, the more points he's going to get and the more he's going to close down in the championship. He knows that, and it's really simple. The focus is go as far as you can. Keegan Kincaid, well, he's got to drive his own truck.
If you weren't with us earlier in the show, Justin Lofton was chasing Robbie Gordon hard in the opening race of the weekend and had a fuel pickup issue. Robbie on the inside again, and he was denied. He was heading for a second-place finish, and the car just conked out right on the finish line just before Justin made it there, and he lost several positions.
And he was trying to run it on the starter up and over the ramp. It just didn't have enough juice left. I can tell you one thing. If Robbie Gordon can get that fender in there on Justin Lofton in one of those braking zones, he's going to move him out of the way.
It's just like what you would categorize as a block pass. If you can jam it in there and then just turn it, you've got that property. You've got that piece of road.
When there he goes. Is it not enough? He just needs to get in there. Wheel well, Lofton with a mistake, and then Gordon over the finger on the outside.
Robbie thought he had him there. Justin got sideways, and Gordon almost lost it.
Almost lost it. It's one of those fingers. The white flag flies now, Lee. One of those little fingers that doesn't really come into play any other time unless you're out there on that outside line, and it really bit Robbie Gordon. Kenny, no.
I think he thought, this is my shot, this is my chance, and then it got to a point where Robbie almost had to relinquish that position to Justin Lofton. Final lap here in Costa Mesa.
And if he's close enough, he'll try it, but he also is thinking championship. Don't throw it away. Don't damage my truck on the last lap and let that 21 back by me. So he'll press Lofton hard, but he'll take the points that he can get here.
So Robbie Gordon won his 3rd race of the year earlier this weekend. Now Justin Lofton is on his way to winning his 3rd race this year if he can hold off this hard-charging speed truck.
Well, and that's where he had the problem before, and no problem this time. Nice and clean, and coming around through the jump back into the stadium. The checkered flag flies, Lee.
Nice one. Justin Lofton, victorious. That'll make him forget about race one a little easier this weekend, and it's time to celebrate. That was good work and pressure all the way. He was the one putting the pressure on Gordon. Time for some victory donuts.
Oh, they're going to crash the trucks here.
Careful, boys. They got a little close. Nice one. That was a good pressure-packed race right to the end. So Lofton has now won 3 in addition to the man who chased him all the way to the line. But when we think about it, you've got to think about championship points, and that was so important for Robbie Gordon. So that will help a lot. But it's time to check in with Marty, because Marty's standing by with our race winner.
Well, Justin Lofton told me before the race that he had a chance to win this thing, and he certainly delivers this afternoon. Justin Lofton in victory lane here in Orange County. Crowd's happy, and they're all going to get a little water shower, including me. Come on, man, that's not nice. Hop down here. Well, let's talk about it. You told me earlier that you learned this track was a little bit tighter than you expected. Is that why you were so aggressive in that first segment?
Yeah, definitely. It was all about getting up front. Robbie was definitely faster than me, but I made my truck as wide as it could be, and it worked out. It was awesome, especially after the disappointment from last night's race. So to come back and get another trophy is awesome. They'll look good in my office, and that's what we're going here, is collecting hardware.
Your strategy is to kind of save and be good at the end of these races, but you, as we said, were a little more aggressive. Were you worried you'd use too much, though, and this guy, Robbie Gordon, would catch you?
Right.
Nice jump.
Yeah.
Nice jump.
Were you worried he would catch you there?
He was definitely catching me, and unfortunately, I knew where all the K-rails were and where all the sharp edges were, so I protected those corners, because it was an awesome race. We kind of got sideways down here coming out, and I was really thinking we were going to make it too wide going all the way down, and it would have
been fun.
I chickened out.
Oh, that's good of you to do that there.
No, it was awesome. It is a really cool event. Thanks for the Sand Sports Show for having us out here. Robbie Gordon for putting in all his long hours and hard work. And, the biggest thing is he's, putting his life into this and making it so he can go race out here in awesome events. And thanks for all the fans for coming out. And you sure don't want to miss out on tomorrow's race.
And some donuts to boot that were pretty incredible, by the way. A little frustration, I'm sure, in those. Justin Lofton is your winner here at Orange County.
And it was a good one too, Marty. All right, Brian, we started with a 19 deficit. We went down to 13. Look at where it's at now.
And it was Abdali Lopez who was the player in that, because he put his truck between Robbie Gordon and that of the 21, the truck of Rob McCacker.
All right, 2 down, 1 to go. Final race coming up. Stadium Super Trucks here on NBC SN continue. It's a new day, and it's time for a new race. And we've got some new drivers as well.
Well, guys, one of the things that Stadium Super Truck has certainly taken pride in this year is the fact that they're developing young talent. When you talk about that, this guy is the one that comes to mind. Young Sheldon Creed, just 15 years old. I was talking to our Townsend Bell earlier this week, and he told me he thinks Sheldon is the most talented teenager he's seen as a race car driver since Robbie Gordon. Certainly some high praise. So the talent is there. The question today is the truck there. In practice this morning, they had issues, overheating issues that they could not solve on this truck. Sheldon told me, if the truck is there, I promise I'll be aggressive and hopefully contending for the win. The one thing for sure, guys, going to be a lot of fun to watch this young man race this afternoon.
We've enjoyed it multiple times already this year, Marty, haven't we? So we see Sheldon Creed come into the mix. BJ Baldwin is here. Brock Hager. We see Scotty Steele. He returns as well. And guess who we get to keep, because Rob Mack has not made it.
And that is just huge for Keegan Kincaid. I mean, Rob Mack working hard. He's racing every weekend, but he's got his championship in Keegan Kincaid's hands, and he says, you know what, the guy did a great job in these last 2 rounds. He deserves this opportunity.
Yeah, finish it off. You can do all 3 races this weekend. What a gorgeous day. It's crisp. It's ready to go.
But the key, Lee, you said day. These last 2 races have been at night. So this racetrack to these guys is going to look completely different. They'll see lines in a different way. They'll be able to see ruts, and they can see the green right now.
Abdali Lopez, wow. What a start from him, and then there's contact there as well. That is Keegan Kincaid and Sheldon Creed come together. And then BJ Baldwin just jams his way down the inside.
Man, things tight in there in the beginning. They always are that way. Things will get sorted out just a little bit, but I've got to be impressed with Abdali Lopez again. one more time. That truck putting the power down. He leaps at the green and goes straight to the front.
Here's last night's race winner, Justin Lofton, the onboard shot. Oh, this is what it looks like in the daytime.
But see how different it looks. Oh, it's two trucks through there isn't going to work, guys. But you can see the difference in the pavement. You can pick a better line. And perhaps to some guys, maybe they like it a little bit better when they can't see, because you can't see some of those things that scare you a little bit. But right now, the other thing that's going to happen, the dirt is going to dry out more during the day than it did at night. Look at the wheels turned on that Daly Lopez's truck when he comes down and lands. And that's one of the things you have to be concerned about. Not only the sidewall of the tire, the suspension, and the steering in there takes a huge hit. You've got those steering tires already turned.
Take a look at this.
This
is pretty wild. Oh, that is Scotty Steele, and that is a massive hit.
Just gets into the end of that K-rail, hits the hydro barrier, and wow.
Let's not forget that this young man had a huge one as well in the opening race on the Crandon weekend. So, already at a very early stage in this third and final race in Costa Mesa, we are under yellow. Two races, two different winners this weekend in Orange County, part of the Sand Super Show. This is Speed Energy Stadium Super Trucks. Lee Diffie, Brian Till, Marty Snyder with you on a gorgeous California day. We're back to racing now after an early race caution because of a huge incident involving Scotty Steele. And this is Daly Lopez leading in the green, white and red truck. He's being hounded by Sheldon Creed, who puts it on the inside.
Beautiful move, and that's where Robbie Gordon was so strong last night. In the braking zone, he doesn't pull it off, but he's saying to Daly Lopez, if you open that door, I'm going to shove this truck in. And there he goes right here, side by side, almost some contact. This is where Daly Lopez spun in one of the previous rounds. So you got to be careful on that pavement. These trucks having a hard time getting the power down, and since it's a little warmer today, the tires are going to get hot sliding around on this pavement. They could go away. You got to take care of your truck, but you got to move forward. Talk about a little bit warmer. Remember, we were talking about some overheating issues. And as the temperatures come up, you got to worry about that too. If you're running in the back and you're getting a lot of mud thrown in that radiator, that can create some of those problems.
Some of the guys tagging the barriers, that was Keegan Kincaid. But if you notice the size of the jumps from Sheldon Creed, he leaps his way into the lead of this race. Daly Lopez comes back.
He's fighting back with Sheldon Creed back to Toronto. We saw him. He's the airman. Call him the delivery guy. Call him FedEx. Call him whatever you want. He has no problem airing it out, and you see it right here. Gets the power down, smokes the tires a little bit, and now firmly in front of, or is he, in front of Daly Lopez.
Oh, nice truck control there as he brings it back and around. And now look at this. All of a sudden we've got Justin Lofton, makes it a 4-truck battle. You're right on board with Keegan Kincaid. Creed, Lopez, Kincaid, Lofton now on the inside. Robbie Gordon's arrived on the scene. Here we go.
Keegan Kincaid almost landing in the back of Daly Lopez's truck. And that's one of the things you got to be concerned about over these jumps. If the guy in front of you hesitates for just a second, once that truck's off the ground, you can't control it, so you got to time it perfectly.
And on the initial start, Sheldon Creed put in a couple of massive jumps, and you could easily just put that down to opening lap adrenaline. However, this kid, who is a multi-time champion in off-road racing, just continues to do it and leapt his way into the lead of this race.
Yeah, he has no problem with air. And one of the things you talk about a lot when you talk about off-road racing in these jumps, the truck, you can't get the power down, you can't steer it, you can't do anything if it's in the air. So a lot of these guys try to get back on the ground as soon as they can, but it looks like Sheldon Creed's gotten it figured out. If I can gain some ground by flying across it, I'm going to do just that. We've seen it all year long. The kid is magic.
4 new drivers for this third and final race of the day because they were busy in Las Vegas at another event as well. So some guys doing not only just double but triple duty this weekend. Creed, Baldwin, Hager and Steele new to this third and final race. Scotty Steele out after that huge crash. They've been tearing some stuff up. Robbie Gordon's guys in Charlotte, North Carolina have some work to do, but they do excellent work in making these. Look at this. Inside Lofton into Lopez.
That's why they have work to do. Contact now. Here's the problem. We talk about championship implications as we're coming down to the wire in the 2013 season. Keegan Kincaid in that 21 truck has been moved back a position. He's still in front of Robbie Gordon, but that's not what he wanted to see. It's not what Rob McCachran wants to hear about if he's on the phone keeping track of Keegan Kincaid's progress, because Gordon now on his back bumper, championship margin, he's going to get closed back down.
Daly Lopez just seems to have lost his rhythm a little bit. Meanwhile, look at that. That's easy to lose your rhythm when you get slammed from behind. Keegan Kincaid in the thick of things because he's got a rearview mirror full of Robbie Gordon. Oh, Lofton is off. There's obviously damage on that truck. He went straight to the pit area.
He almost got pushed into the pit area. Keegan Kincaid right behind him. Now Kincaid with a little bit of open racetrack, but Robbie Gordon, this is where he was so strong yesterday. You saw him reach down, pull that brake, that steering brake that locks up the rear tires, turns the truck, tries to get a drive off the corner. He can't do it yet, but hey, Keegan, I'm here. Rub, rub. You see him with just that little contact.
That's one of the things that Robbie Gordon has displayed this year, is that he may not be there at the beginning. He's looking for that same line. He's got it. That could be the move that gets Robbie Gordon a championship. Every single point counts.
We have not seen a pass there through these other two events, call it 2.5 events, Lee. And that was a place where Robbie Gordon just shoved it in and relied on Keegan Kincaid to back out, which is exactly what he did, and Gordon takes the position.
Whether he was joking or not, I think he may have been a little bit. He said in his interview last night with Justin Lofton, I was the one who chickened out. Yes, he played a game of bluff with Keegan Kincaid and made Keegan get out of the throttle. Daly Lopez has come back now on Creed. He's found that rhythm again.
Yeah, he seems to have gotten it gathered back up. I think Sheldon Creed really kind of startled him, took him off of his game, but now Lopez beginning to fight back. And Gordon knows how to win races. He knows how to win championships. You got to push when you can, but you got to make sure you collect points, Lee. You cannot throw them away at this point in time, because right behind him, that 21 truck, Keegan Kincaid trying to grab all the points that he can for Rob McCachran.
And as hard as the guys are racing now, they know that there is a competition yellow not too far away. That's going to give people like these guys a chance to get closer to the front. In the 21 Traxxas truck, Keegan Kincaid and Robbie Gordon running 4th and 3rd respectively. It's still teenager Sheldon Creed in the Magnaflow truck leading the way at the time of the competition yellow. So he had to fight for it. He hasn't led this entire way. Daly Lopez was the early leader in race 3. It's competition yellow, and when we come back, it's going to be a mad scramble to the end. Will we get 3 different winners in as many races? Find out. People in the off-road world have known about Sheldon Creed for years, and that seems strange saying that because he's only a teenager. But in Stadium Super Trucks, we saw him shoot to prominence when he won the 2nd of 2 races in Toronto on the streets with the IZOD IndyCar Series that weekend. It is Sheldon Creed who leads again. But what has Lopez got for him? And here comes Robbie Gordon in the orange speed machine.
And this is where Gordon's so strong. Down the inside. Can he do it under braking?
Whoa!
Oh! He got greedy. We talked about flying the trucks and trying to get a little more and cover a little more ground. Gordon tried a little too hard. Lawn darts. Does the double. Boom. It's a place where he really hadn't been running. That lip of that jump just a little bit steeper, and
if you saw coverage of the Dakar Rally here on NBCSN earlier this year, you'll know that Robbie Gordon did that same thing in his Hummer.
And that is huge. Look at how well the truck is still running. It's huge that he can stay out there. Championships, we talked about it. Now this man, Keegan Kincaid, in the blue Traxxas, the gray and blue Traxxas truck, 21. That orange number plate signifying that is the championship leader. He's trying to collect points for Rob McCachran. He saw Gordon on his head, and now Keegan Kincaid needs to focus forward, get as many positions as he can, because he knows Gordon is running hurt.
And just because you saw, there's a big slam. Keegan Kincaid gets into Lopez.
Don't make that mistake, Keegan.
He jams it in there, and around goes Mike Jenkins. PJ Jones is there as well. Now they're starting to tear some stuff up. We said it earlier in the show, but we said it prematurely. Now, the point I was about to make is you see the wounded Speed Energy truck of Robbie Gordon at the back. Just because he spun the truck and got going again, don't think that he's not hurt. That was a big impact. I think that would have rung his bell a little bit.
Huge impact. But you also see the damage to Keegan Kincaid's truck there in front. Yeah, it's got a big Nerf bar, but you got to be a little bit careful. He went past Gordon. He knows Gordon's truck is hurt. So he's got to be careful with his. He needs to take care of it. He has a job to do for Rob McCachran.
And I think he's having trouble turning that truck,
I think he is
Brian.
too. I think he's hurt it.
It just did not get through, and and damage to Abdali Lopez, front right.
Right front suspension or tire, one of the two. You can see it was down on the right front. The truck just would not turn. So that's huge. That's another player out of the equation. It's going to allow Gordon to pick up another spot. The championship just keeps going back and forth with every lap, with every corner.
This is what Brian's talking about. Look at the front of that Traxxas truck, the 21
It's not
machine.
turning.
This is the championship leading truck with Keegan Kincaid, champion driver in his own right, but a stand-in this weekend for Rob McCachran. And this is our race leader, Sheldon Creed. But one of the guys who's been in it all weekend, Abdali Lopez, is out of this race. When we come back, we'll see who prevails. It's looking good for Sheldon Creed. What a way for the weekend to end. What a disappointment there for Abdali Lopez, who showed speed and consistency and flair and determination. Unfortunately, this happened to the RPM machine.
Yeah, the right front just collapses. Remember when we were talking about the punishment these trucks take when you've got the wheel turned and you land on it? Wonder if just eventually that's what created the issue.
You see him throw his hands in the air. Disappointment, understandably, because he was in the mix and he has been for all weekend. Look at truck number 6. This is what both competition yellows and mandatory yellows for somebody needing rescuing do. Justin Lofton is suddenly back in the mix after having go to the pits before with tyre trouble. Lofton's back. Our race 2 winner is back.
He's right back in it. Everybody is as they've closed up. We're back to green, and Keegan Kincaid all over the back bumper of Sheldon Creed, pushing and shoving. He knows he needs to move forward. But I'm telling you, Lee, I don't think that the 21 is healthy. I don't think it's turning well right now. PJ Jones tried to get around and really stack things up there.
Maybe he's just going on the big offensive. He's just going aggressive and saying, I'm going to do the best job I can for Rob McCachran. I'm going to try and get maximum points.
Well, you want to do that. I mean, and that's what he needs to do. But right there, when it all went south for Robbie Gordon, I think there was just a little bit of over-exuberance on Keegan Kincaid's part, and he did that damage. And the damage that's been done, well, he can't fix it. So he's going to have to run with his truck to the end.
Trying to nurse it home. PJ Jones in the black truck there in third. He gives Keegan Kincaid a little tap, and he's got plenty of front-end damage as well. Then it's Lofton. Then do we pick up Robbie Gordon? Is he the next one in line? Watch for that wounded Speed Energy machine.
And here's the problem for Keegan Kincaid. Sheldon Creed in front of him, PJ Jones behind him. They're not in the championship, and they could care less.
Yeah, they go for the win.
Yeah, they're going for the win. So, right there in the braking zone again.
Trouble getting it turned. Oh, almost 3 abreast, and up on the wall goes Keegan Kincaid.
Oh, and then into Gordon. He makes contact with Gordon.
Wow! And BJ Baldwin and Kincaid come together. Can you believe what you're seeing? Rob McCachran's championship chances are evaporating very quickly in what has been a wild third race.
It is all going away. Take a look at where it starts. He makes contact with Sheldon Creed in the braking zone.
It won't turn on him. It won't turn. Finally it turns.
Then the contact, he gets pushed up on the K-rail. Back into traffic. He could have taken out Robbie Gordon right there.
Whoa. That was nasty. That could have been a whole lot uglier as well. A lucky escape for BJ Baldwin and Keegan Kincaid. Meanwhile, back at the front, Sheldon Creed is your race leader. And Justin Lofton, after being third earlier and having been forced to go to the pits, did he ever think he had a chance of winning this race? And he's enjoying it now.
I thought he was going to get past Sheldon Creed right there, coming off of the corner. Lofton has been rejuvenated, let's say.
Amazing. And he's in with a shot. He goes for that inside line and body slams Sheldon Creed. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for Justin this time because Creed is able to escape. The youngster hanging tough.
Hanging tough indeed. He's taken a pounding. Fourth in the serial, though. Robbie Gordon in that damaged Speed Energy truck. And who do I not see? Keegan Kincaid.
That's right. We're talking about a championship. Yes, there's a great race going on, a fabulous race, but we have to keep one eye on the championship because after this, there's only one race left.
And this is hard fought. This one is one of those, I think maybe the fact that they can see the daylight has made them just a little bit braver than they've been before. Gordon attacking Creed and just all over the back of him. The other thing I see, though, Lee, is a lot of tire smoke coming through this asphalt section. These tires, remember, they're DOT approved. When you spin a tire like that, it creates heat, and heat is not its friend, especially when it is a tire that is designed to run on the road.
Look at how tight this section is here. Your truck control just has to be perfect. It has to be spot on. And Sheldon Creed is coming under increasing pressure late in this race. Another big jump. PJ Jones is right there with the man that he clashed with at Crandon in Wisconsin.
Oh, side by side, and Jones will be brave enough to stick it in there. Robbie Gordon said he bailed out. PJ Jones doesn't. And they made contact, he and Justin Lofton.
Gordon is doing everything he can as they see the white flag signifying the final lap here in Costa Mesa at the Orange County Fairgrounds and Event Center.
Now, Gordon's going to keep pressing. One of the things that we talk about is knowing where your competition is. You've got to see them have problems because they don't have a crew that's standing in the pit lane talking to them on a radio, so they don't really know if somebody's behind them what has happened. It's just if you pass the truck that has problems. So Gordon's going to keep pressing right now on the back bumper of PJ Jones to see if he can get another position. But Sheldon Creed, what an impressive young man.
And he has less than half a lap of this 1.5 mile, and Robbie gets it up on two wheels late in the race.
He hit that K-rail just like we saw Scotty Steele do, but it was about 6 inches different. And did we just see Justin Lofton spin? He did a little bit. Sheldon Creed pulls out a little bit more.
Checkered flag is out for the teenager, Sheldon Creed. Notches up another Speed Energy Stadium Super Truck victory to go with his one from Toronto. And a little extra treat for the fans here. Nice.
There you go, the rooster tail. Where's Robbie Gordon going to go? That's not a pretty looking truck. Hey, get out of my way. I want to celebrate too.
The boss says, move on. All right, kid, you're fast and you won, but it's time to move on. Fabulous result to Sheldon Creed.
And good stuff. This racetrack that Robbie Gordon designed is spectacular. It has some of everything. We talked about it. It's got sand, it's got dirt, it has asphalt, it's tight. And to control one of these 600 horsepower trucks around this tight circuit, impressive. Just like that young man, Sheldon Creed. Look at that.
That is a way to celebrate. A speed flick, some donuts, and gas it up. He's had a very busy weekend racing in 2 different venues, completely different states. But hey, when you're a teenager, you've got boundless energy, right? You can do that. As well as a ton of talent. So Creed wins, Lofton and Jones. They're your podium place getters. Now, while Robbie Gordon finished 4th, more important thing there is Keegan Kincaid finished 5th, so Gordon doing again what he needed to up against Rob McCachran's truck. But it's time to hear from our winner. Here's Sheldon Creed with Martin.
Well, 24 hours ago, Sheldon Creed was not even in Orange County, but today he comes here and shows the older guys how to get it done. Sheldon Creed, your winner here at Orange County this afternoon, and very impressive run for Sheldon, who started second, took the lead early on, and kept it. So, with all the issues you had with your truck this morning, were you thinking a win today was even possible?
I didn't really know. I know I had the speed, but I didn't know if my truck was going to last. But no, that they're off the end, and I was running like second first couple laps, and ended up getting the lead. So held from there and just tried to stay smooth. And at the end, Justin was right on me, so had to keep on my points and came out on top.
Yeah, you got to the lead early. Was that kind of by strategy, knowing how tight this track was?
Yeah, just I saw he wasn't jumping that jump as far as I was, so I thought if I went farther than him right there, and he ended up making a little mistake, and I jumped past him, so ended up working out good, and got a little bit of lead there for a while, but Justin definitely closed it up at the end.
There you go, very tight finish, but he's able to pull off the win, his second win of the 2013 season.
And Marty, we've said it many times before, we're going to see Sheldon Creed for many, many years to come. We're down to the final event, Brian, and we're down to just 3 points.
Well, and this is what's important. Robbie Gordon doesn't have the lead. He's fought and he's closed it down, but Rob McCachran, he's still out in front. It's going down to the last race of the season.
And that last race will take place in a very appropriate place, Las Vegas, Nevada, to create some headlines and some highlights and some major drama in the inaugural season of the Speed Energy Stadium Super Trucks. We had a little bit of everything here this weekend in California. It was a wild weekend. More importantly, the championship's still alive.